Hi there, Sandra here from Creating Spain and Siser Juliet Beginners to Pro. Now before I go any further, please may I stress that my Facebook page and my YouTube channels are not official Siser channels. They are mine, and I use the name Siser Juliet because that is the cutting machine that I happen to use. You can still get files from these channels and Facebook pages for your other cutters because I give my files as SVG. I don't care what machine you use. I am into crafting and I want to help people do their crafting. So I don't care if you use a Juliet or you use something else. I give my files in SVG form so the majority of people can use them. You can even use them in laser cutters and things like that. Okay, so the reason I want to make this video today is because of these pens. I had a project I wanted to do. I wanted to draw something with my machine and I wanted to colour it in, but I didn't want the ink to bleed. You can't put a pencil in a cutting machine because it goes up and down like that. You're going to break your pencil and possibly get bits of lead all over the place and inside your machine. Not a great idea. But pens can be used very easily in these cutters as long as you have an adapter. Now the adapter that comes with the Siser Juliet is this one. It is only made for their sublimation pens. I think I've got one pen that fits it, but that's about it. So pretty useless from my point of view. They have yet to come out with a pen adapter for the Juliet or the Romeo. Now, if you are in the US, for example, you can buy a pen adapter. There is one that Sandy McCauley actually sells, which is a metal one, not the same style as this. Now, there is a company that was working and printing pen adapters called Fun Prints, I think it was, but I recently saw a post from them that said that they were actually closing up and they wouldn't be doing it anymore. Now, whether they are going to sell the business along the line, I don't know. A year ago or so, when I first got my Juliet, I decided I couldn't go without a pen adapter. I'm too used to having one. And we've got a 3D printer. I designed a 3D print and I came to the conclusion that these worked really, really well. Thanks very much, and that's what I've been using ever since. This is just like a tube, because I have the occasional larger pen that I would like to put in my holder. It's too loose to put in the holder on its own, but it's too big to go in any of these because these have a certain wall thickness. And I just created this little tube that slit, and that does the job for some as well. So these pen holders will take most pens. So you literally just put it in and there we go, it clicks in and you have the nib stuck out at the end. So it works really, really well. These pens come in two nib sizes, a 0.1 and a 0.5. And I've got them three different colours. So this one being the dark grey, like so. And these are water resistant. It says on here they are uni pin, fine line, water and fade proof. And the I in pin looks like a dressmaking pin. It actually looks like a pin there, okay? So that is the type of pen I've got. It says recap after use, which you should do in any case. Water and fade proof, made by Mitsubishi Pencil Company Limited. The nice feature with these, apart from the fact that they have two different sizes, 0.5 and the 0.1, is that the cap has this little window on either side, which means you can see the nib size before you uncap it. Quite a nice little feature, I think, quite useful. Also has the size printed around the barrel there. So I wanted to do some testing of them, which I've done, and this is watercolour paper. This is probably still damp, but I can put water over this and they don't smudge or bleed. Excellent. The colour that you can see on here, and this is not watercolour paper, this is just normal card, is alcohol marker, and that doesn't cause it to smudge or bleed either. So this is a very useful type of pen as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, thoroughly approve of these. Now I did have another brown one. These I bought on offer. They were €1 each. Now, the reason I'm making this video relatively quickly, I don't know if these are going to go out of stock, whether they were discounted because they're no longer going to be made anymore. I have no clue. Unfortunately, this one does not work at all. I think I have picked one up that was probably tested and tested and tested, and it's run out of ink. And I didn't test it before I left the store, which, that's the moral of the tale. They weren't packaged, they were sold singly. So I've got 2 of the 0.1s in the light grey, 2 of the 0.5s in the light grey, because I figured those were the ones I wanted most. I've got 1 each in the dark grey and 1.51 in the sepia. That should keep me going for quite some time, I would think. So while we're on the subject of pens, I thought I'd show you other things that I have used in my Juliet. And I have here, amongst other things in this container, some scribe tools. Now this one does not come apart, but it has a nice sharp point on it. And the reason I want to show you this is because it came as a set. I think there were 4 scribe tools in the set, and some of them actually did come apart. So they had handles that they would screw into. There was an end that went into there as well, but I've lost it or taken it out. So the ones that come apart, you have this. And just put that back in there. I'll look in here. Here we go. All I've done with this is wrap some tape around it. And you can put that into your Juliet machine, and you can use it to engrave acrylics, plastics, or whatever. Now the whole set that I bought there with 4 of these pens in was, I believe, about 12 to 15 euros, so pretty cheap to do. I also have another blade holder. This one fits in my Juliet really well. The only difference was I needed that ring to be lower, so I put on a couple of elastic bands, and now it's perfect. I tend to use this one for cutting foam because I leave more of the blade out. I don't have to then adjust the one that I've got in my machine for normal paper cutting. So that works really nicely. This is a nail dotting tool. Okay, this one is set in UV resin, which I moulded from a tube to the right size, and I put another little ring of resin around there so that I can literally drop that in as well. This is before I found these tools on AliExpress, which cost me about 12 euros, including postage. This one is the blunt one, so this is the embossing tool, I believe. And then this one is the etching tool because it's sharper. There's nothing fancy about these at all. They are simply holders. They don't wind in, wind out, whatever. They simply hold the tool. And those can be used for either creasing or they can be used for scoring, depending on which one you've got there. But as I said, I believe I paid something like 12 euros for the set of 2. Now, these things here come with different size balls on, and I found those are pretty good for doing creases in cards, for folding, that sort of stuff, or for creasing for boxes, all those sorts of things, okay? The other thing you can use for that is a empty roller ball pen. It works really well, but you do have to make sure obviously that you've cleaned it out properly and there's no ink in it. But it works well because the roller ball travels along the paper. It doesn't drag, it travels along. And again, it will work quite well. So regarding these, I don't know if I really want to sell these or not, but leave your comments down below. What do you think? Is it worth my while bothering? I have no clue. I forgot to mention, at least I think I forgot to mention, these pens are not alcohol markers. They do not work on non-absorbent material. So you couldn't, for example, write on this and expect it to stay there. It would rub off, okay? So not for plastics, not for non-absorbent papers. Just in case you're concerned about that. If you want to write on that kind of thing, then you need a CD marker type thing, a permanent marker that is for plastics. Okay, that is it for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon. Take care now.